I thought I would share 3 from another book. These are all from a larger book series, and this lets you know the happy tone of it is called Rape, Sexism, Life, and Death. There are 2 parts of it. One is that I worked as a workshop facilitator for years. Lots of people's stories, and so there are a lot in the first half of this. The second half is a lot of poetry that I wrote after nearly being killed while stopped in an intersection in a car accident. The other cool thing about this is that some of these poems also have Slovak translations. I don't know Slovak and can't say them, so I'm not going to say that for you. But I thought I would pick a few pieces and we'll see how it goes. These are stories I've heard, and this is the first one called Coslow's. I am back at my old college hangout years later, sharing some beers with an old friend. Then I remember being there with a friend who used to work there. She told me about the women's bathroom. In all my years, I had never been there. She said, women wrote down on the wall at the left of the stall, women write that they've been raped. They name names. And there were arrows pointing to other women's messages saying, I've heard this before. First names, last names. And when she told me of this years ago, I walked in, read the names, and wrote down one of my own. Forgot about that wall until now, and I am back, just yards away from that bathroom door. I get up, walk, open the door years later. All the names are still there. Jake, Jay, Josh, Larry, Matt, Scott. I can even still see my own writing. It didn't take long to find it. And this one's about me. And this one's called A Woman Talking About Her Rapist Friend. He was my friend, and we had been through a lot together, our psychological ups and downs, but he mixed drinks exceptionally well at his college frat parties, and his ice blue eyes always spoke the truth to me. It's amazing to think that the only reason we ever met was because one day he wore a turtleneck that perfectly matched his eyes, and I had to tell him. I don't know why he put up with my mood swings, with my self-destructive social life and man-hating. And normally he didn't care about women, never gave their opinions much thought, but he just tried to get them drunk at parties. Maybe he knew this, and that's why he listened to me. Then for a few years, our friendship drifted. We didn't see each other much. I heard through the grapevine that he was failing in school. And then one day, out of the blue, he comes up to me with 2 black eyes. And he says to me that when he was in a parking garage, 2 guys came up to him and beat him. And one of them said, "You raped my girlfriend." And, you know, looking back, he was right. I raped her. And I knew he wanted sympathy. He wanted to hear me say something, but I couldn't. And he said, I know this has to be hard for you to hear, but I wanted to tell you. I know it was wrong. A part of me wanted to hate him. A part of me thought that if he was my friend, I would be condoning what he did. And a part of me thought that our friendship made him realize what he'd actually done. I tried to be there for him. I wasn't much good at it. And eventually he moved away. I didn't try to lose touch with him, but it's just that a part of me is still trying to figure out if I can be his friend. Sometimes you lose touch with someone. Sometimes that's all you can do. I wrote this one actually for a feature that was on Beach in Chicago about the accident. It is called Left with a Hole. You ever see TV shows or the movies and some protagonists would fall into a coma? I don't know from what, a gunshot, a car crash. Well, every time they wake up from their coma, and they're under for weeks to 4 years, they come out of it and they're mentally just fine. They talk in complete sentences, and I can remember what happened to them right up until the catastrophe. But let me be the voice of experience. In the real world, that's not the way it goes. You don't remember what happened right before the coma began. You'll wake up confused because your long-term memory never had a chance to save your short-term memories from that fateful day. When you wake up, you'll have to train yourself to walk and talk and eat again. You'll fall out of the hospital bed trying to leave. You'll want to kill the people who did this to you. You want to scream your story to the world as they put you in restraints at night. You know, for your own good. You want to rip that food tube out of you, but you'll be afraid to actually put food into your mouth. Look, you have to remind yourself that you've done this before. It's not hard. Everyone does it. Put some food on a fork, put it in your mouth, remove fork, start chewing. It's just that simple. Just swallow. I know it seems strange, but you can do this. You have to build your life again, piece by piece. I mean, you did this from scratch when you were a baby. You're an adult now. You can retrain yourself. People will ask you if you remember what happened to you that fateful day, and they'll think that it's just like the movies and everyone just snaps out of a coma just good as new. You won't know how to be able to tell them that you'll never be good as new, and nothing you can say can make them understand that even though you woke up, those, excuse my language, it's the poem, those bastards who did this to you, they took so much that you can't even remember the seconds before your life was forever changed for the worse. You're left with a hole. They even took your memories of the last seconds of your life from you.